Hey guys, this is Clinton Jeff from UnleashThePhones.com, and what I have in front of you is the new 2012 iPad versus the old aging iPad 2 from last year. You won't really notice much of a difference on camera. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I don't even think you can notice the icons. I'm not sure if they look that much better, but basically the new iPad has a massively improved screen over the iPad 2. It's a much higher resolution than the iPad 2. It actually has 4 times the amount of pixels that the old iPad used to have. So it does look really brilliant. It's a lot more vibrant, for example, without looking too oversaturated. Yeah, I don't think you can actually notice this on the camera, but yeah, it is really, really nice. So I'm just going to put this away for now, just to show you quickly how it looks. Put this in the corner, and here we go. Okay, so there are a lot of iPad reviews out there, so I'm just going to try and focus on what's new versus the iPad 2. The first thing that's new is, of course, the Retina display. It looks really nice. There's 3.1 million pixels for a resolution of, I think, 264 pixels per inch, which is really good. It's not as densely packed as the iPhone 4S and the iPhone 4, but it is the best you'll see on a tablet. When you first see it versus an iPad, you might not notice, but when you look at the icons and you look at text, for example, you'll see that the text is a lot more sharper all around. It's actually more sharper than the Kindle. Of course, it's not as great in bright sunlight as the Kindle, which uses e-ink, but the screen is really nice. There's a backlit, it's still a backlit screen, so it doesn't do that well in sunlight, but otherwise I think this is the best you'll get. There's really good color saturation. Apple says there's been a 44% increase, I think, in the color saturation, so it is vivid without being too oversaturated at all. You get a lot of pixels basically crammed to a pretty flawless screen right there. There's no image noise, there's no crosstalk, there's no visual artifacts anywhere, there's no ghosting, everything moves really fast. So definitely something that's really good. I don't think any rival manufacturers will catch up to the screen. It is that good. The main reason I think you should stick with your iPad 2 versus the new iPad is because of the size of the apps. Each app now uses, well, all the apps that are updated to use the Retina display now uses a high resolution image, which means that every app weighs in a lot more than the iPad 2, for example. An app that weighs like 20 MB on the iPad 2 might weigh in at maybe 120 MB on the new iPad, depending on the size of the high resolution images used. So I don't know, I would highly recommend not picking up the 16 GB version of the new iPad. If you are buying the new iPad, I would definitely say get at least 32 GB, if not the 64 GB, but it is limiting. It's a bit of a problem. So that's something that you should note. Even if the apps are not updated to really take use of the new iPad, everything is very nicely upscale, so you'll never actually have a problem where anything looks fuzzy, for example. Yeah, very good stuff. Moving on, the camera is really nice. I can't actually show you right now, but the camera is massively improved versus the iPad 2. The iPad 2 had a camera that was less than 1 megapixel. Here we have a proper 5 megapixel camera that's being used with an aperture of 2.4, and it has a new backside illuminated sensor, so pictures come out really nice. I'm not a fan of taking pictures on the iPad, but you do get some very nice results on the iPad. For example, this was taken on the iPad yesterday, and it does look pretty good. So that is worth noting, that it's definitely something that I really like. I do like good cameras, as you guys know. One more thing that I really liked was the new dictation app that's built into a keyboard. As long as you have an internet connection, you'll get that little sound recorder icon on your keyboard. There is no Siri, unfortunately, on the new iPad. It's a bit of a shame, but there is dictation, so you can basically dictate a note to the new iPad and it will type it out for you, full stop. And depending on my internet connection, it'll either get it completely right or completely wrong. It got completely wrong over there, but you get what I mean by this. Depending on your accent, you will either make a lot of use of this app or not. So as you can see, you do get a lot of problems, a lot of misspells and a lot of wrong words. So it's not very reliable, but it is reliable enough to use as a dictation app. What else is there? I think lastly, this is a Wi-Fi and 4G 64 GB iPad. I couldn't use the 4G because the 4G is only meant to be used in America. Even if your country supports 4G, like India and the UK and even Australia, the iPad cannot support it. It's only meant to support the bands of the US, I guess. It does happily use a 3G, so that's not a problem. Battery life is almost exactly the same as the iPad 2, so again, nothing new in that department. The battery capacity has been increased quite a lot to keep up with the new processor and the new screen though. So yeah, I guess that's about it. I guess I've covered all the bases. Now the new iPad isn't flawless for sure. Connectivity can be a problem for people who are not used to tablets or who are not used to Apple's way of doing things, even with iCloud. And as I said, the memory is a bit of a problem because of the new apps and the size of the new apps. At the end of the day, you either want an iPad or you don't. I think if you're picking up a tablet today, it should be the new iPad or even the iPad 2. It's definitely the best tablet out there right now. As it is, Android tablets are pretty crappy, so I think Apple has this market very well sorted out. There are plenty of games for it. They all look pretty amazing. There's a whole bunch of games and apps on the App Store. The build quality is really solid. The design is almost exactly the same as the iPad 2, so you will get plenty of cases. And yeah, I think I couldn't actually find anything wrong with the iPad. I'm a huge believer of how a tablet is more of a luxury than a necessity, and there's no real pressure to get a tablet. It is the best iPad and the best tablet out there right now for sure. Eventually though, an iPad will become what you want it to be. I use my iPad mainly to type my reviews in when I'm moving around, or to just quickly surf the internet if I have to. And as you can see, I also play a lot of games. So yeah, definitely recommend it. Check out the full review on unleashthephones.com for a better idea. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. And that's about it.